Welcome to the Press Box with Sam Eklund and Brandon Berry.
All right, let's try this again. Sam Eklund.
I'm Sam Eklund.
I'm Brandon Berry.
Welcome back to the Press Box.
Like we were mentioning, you couldn't hear us. We're trying to work out all our technical issues. Sam had mentioned we're together,
Yeah.
so usually we do it separate, but we're going to try this at a different angle.
Yeah. So, and today is Memorial Day, as you can see by our attire. Today is Memorial Day, and usually, and just going to remember those that have gave the ultimate sacrifice to give us our freedom to, that we are able to do this show, that we're able to play sports and talk about sports and do all the things that we're able to do. So just as you're cooking out and you're barbecuing and grilling and hanging out with your friends and family, just remember what today really means.
Yeah.
So we got a lot to unpack today. A big weekend in sports. We finished out the SEC tournament this weekend. They finished out the state championships in baseball and softball, and then you're in the Eastern and Western Conference Finals in the NBA. I mean, there's a lot going on and a lot to unpack from this past weekend.
Most definitely.
So let's start out in the SEC tournament. The Razorbacks made it to the finals, which to me was a big deal. I'm gonna be honest with you, I didn't think they'd get by Texas.
Yeah. It definitely. I never want to doubt the Razorbacks, but kind of got me by a long shot. I'm saying, hey, we're here. This might could happen, and made it to the championship, but kind of a little bit of a letdown there in the championship.
Yeah. Georgia, they came out, man. I said in the previous that Georgia was my pick. Georgia came out and they exploded with a 5-run first inning, and they really never looked back after that.
Right.
They added 2 more runs later on in the third to go up 8-0, and Arkansas finally scored with a home run in the top half of the 6th inning. But you know what? Georgia answered back with 3 more.
Yeah. Georgia was definitely hot. Their bats were rolling. Several key players on Georgia. Man, you got to give it to them. Georgia came out and played some baseball.
Yeah, Georgia's a really great team. They're going to hold a regional.
Mm-hmm.
They're kind of my pick.
Yeah.
Riding hot right now. I think they're my pick to win it this year.
They're definitely, a team like Georgia. They get past their conference into their wins their championship at their conference. But I'm going to bring them down just a little bit. Sometimes a team like Georgia, I don't think Georgia will, but a team like Georgia sometimes will get in their regional and kind of collapse. We've seen it happen before in the years, and I think Arkansas has even been through that before, not real recent, but several years ago. Now, that being said, I don't think that'll happen to Georgia, but they're definitely a powerhouse baseball club for sure.
Oh yeah, and talking about Georgia, Florida had them on the ropes. Florida had them down. I think it was 7-0 going into the latter half of the ball game, and then Georgia came back and really just kind of walked it off on Florida. I mean, it was an impressive game. I mean, I think his name's O'Sullivan, I believe, is Florida's coach. He said we had them on the ropes.
Yeah.
And they just couldn't finish. Georgia's offense got rolling later in the latter part of that game and just completely took over.
Mm-hmm.
I was impressed that Florida put 7 up on them.
Yeah, that was
pretty quickly.
That was real quick, and man, just kudos to them. They're going to be a team to follow. As much as we'd like our home team to be in that position, and to have a lot of momentum going into regionals like Georgia, you got to give it to him. Hats off to him for sure.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to talk about the other side of the bracket of this. We got Arkansas and Auburn. Well, I mean, we can go back to the Arkansas-Texas game. I mean, Arkansas's offense in the Texas game really showed up, showed out. Their pitching was absolutely phenomenal. Really, this whole tournament, I think Arkansas's pitch, other than the Georgia game.
Yeah.
But I think Georgia's offense is too overpowering. But up until that point, I think the Razorbacks pitched the whole tournament outstanding.
Yeah, they did. And I had told somebody I was glad that we won the game in the to get into the semifinal or to get in the championship. But I was concerned that we were going to struggle a little bit at the mound just because of how good and who was pitching that game. And I'm not going to say we struggled on the mound against Georgia, but definitely they were hitting the ball.
Yeah, they do. Again, and in the Auburn game, a lot of it goes to the Moth with Helfrich's home run.
Yeah. Hopefully viewers know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
You'll have to look it up. Yeah, anyway, you have to look that up.
You couldn't not talk about the ACC tournament, the Razorbacks, and not talk about the Moth,
For sure.
the Lucky Moth. Helfrich hit that
He
bomb.
must have died overnight.
Well, they let him go. They let him go. He finally let him go after the game. But Helfrich hit that home run in the bottom half of the eighth. Was it the top of the eighth or top of the ninth? I don't remember what inning it was.
Yeah,
But
I think it was 8.
yeah, and to take the lead, and a guy that really struggled in the latter half of the tournament was Kozel, and Kozel was, I think, going into that Auburn game was batting a 667 or 664. It was really high batting average, and then his bat just kind of went cold, and for the Razorbacks to go deep into the College World Series, or deep into the regionals and deep into the super regionals and potentially the College World Series, Kozel's the guy that his bat has to be hot.
Right. Yeah, I mean, games prior to that, he was on fire.
Yeah.
Every time he stepped up to the plate, I'm like, oh my gosh, can you hit a home run like he did or whatever?
Yeah.
He definitely is a playmaker out on the field or at in the box for sure. I was very impressed with him.
Yeah, I think against the Longhorns, I think his first 2 at bats, he was 2 for 2 with 2 home runs, and one of those home runs actually was the longest home run in the SEC tournament, 449 feet.
Yeah.
And there were some bombs hit out there this year, and Kozel actually took it on the distance. But yeah, I mean, so Bernie, what do you think for the Arkansas to win that regional? And by the way, for those who don't know, the Arkansas got invited to the regionals in Kansas. And it's Kansas, Arkansas, Missouri State, and had it on the tip of my tongue.
Yeah, I lost it.
Northwestern or Northeastern, something like that.
Might be right.
But anyways, Arkansas opens up against Missouri State, a team that Arkansas is actually very familiar with. We played a couple mid-week series with them so far this year. I mean, and anytime that Arkansas hosts a regional, I feel like Missouri State's in it.
Yeah.
Like Brandon was saying, Arkansas had a collapse one year in the regionals, and guess who it was? It was Missouri State that beat us.
Yeah. I was talking to someone today, and Northeastern is 14.
Yeah, Northwestern.
I was talking to someone today about, we play Missouri State, and just because it's like Missouri State, comparable to a little bit smaller schools, we've seen small schools make a good running. Like Arkansas Trojans last year.
Euler.
Yeah, Euler.
By the way, kudos to them. They made it to the regionals this year.
That's
They won
awesome.
their conference in the Ohio, I think it's the Ohio Valley Conference, and they made it, and they got invited to a regional this
That's
year
awesome.
too.
So teams like that, they can surprise you. And I can't really remember, but I feel like there was a game or two we struggled against Missouri State. So, when you get out on the baseball field, it's baseball. Anything can happen. I think kind of like with the Georgia game, I think we can beat Georgia. It just wasn't our night for sure, and we just couldn't get it going. But definitely going to be fun when the regional start to face Missouri State.
Yeah, it's always fun matchup. It's always a good matchup. It's a hard fought game between those two schools each and every time that they see each other on the diamond. And I don't know a whole lot about Kansas. I hadn't watched them play this year. Mm-hmm. Obviously, I feel like they're going to be pretty salty because of the fact that they are hosting a regional.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting regional for sure. And kudos to the UALR Trojans again, winning. If you remember last year, they gave LSU every bit more than they wanted.
I loved every bit of that. That was very fun to watch.
Yeah.
Exciting all at the same time. I think everybody was posting online about it. It was a big deal. I mean, it's a big deal for a school like that to be invited to that and being able to play what we would say, under the big lights or the big field. Definitely an accomplishment. So it'd be fun to watch them.
Yeah.
Coming up here this weekend.
So let's transition over to the Arkansas softball team, Brennan. The Lady Razorbacks, they got invited for they've qualified for the first time ever to go to the College World Series in Oklahoma City. They beat Duke in 2 games. They beat them Saturday 10-2 and Friday 14-4. Mm-hmm. I mean they run ruled them. They almost run ruled them both games. I mean they've played outstanding this year.
Yeah. They've played heck of good baseball or softball. It's actually crazy to watch them. I hadn't watched them a whole bunch, but bits and pieces kept up with them. But this last week I watched them quite a bit, and man, they're fire on the field, and they come out and play some softball. It's very fun to watch them do what they do.
I don't think they have a weak spot in their lineup. From top to bottom, I mean, those girls, they hit the ball. I mean, they've done a great job building a lineup that produces runs.
Yep.
All the way from top to bottom.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the name of the game. It's scoring runs, and they do a great job at that. Their pitching was good. Was it 10-2? I mean, they held Duke to 6 runs.
Yeah.
24-6 was the 2 scores, and so I mean the pitching was phenomenal. Their hitting was on point. It's still led by Bree Ellis. I mean she's having another outstanding year.
Yeah, I probably looked for her to get another. I mean potential. Didn't she last year? She got SEC Player of the Year.
I think she broke the home run record.
Yeah, She definitely can stand her own out there. She's a heck of a ball player.
Yeah. So fun fact, I was watching ESPN this morning, and not to knock Florida on this story, but I don't know if you know this story. But Jason Williams, if you remember who Jason Williams is, he was in the 90s, they called him White Chocolate. He played he was the quarterback for Randy Moss in West Virginia, and he ended up getting a basketball scholarship to Florida. Played his 2 or 3 years in Florida, then he made it to the NBA. Just an awesome basketball player. But anyways, his daughter played for Florida up until this year, and she transferred to Texas Tech. And just so happens, these 2 schools meet in Gainesville at the Super Regional. And so the first game, she's batting, and Florida hit her twice that first game. I mean, obviously, I feel like it was on purpose.
Yeah.
Second, and then towards the end of the game, the girl gets up there. I can't remember her name. Her last name is Williams. That's what she gets up there and hits a walk-off to
Oh, gosh.
To win the first game for the Lady Red Raiders. And then the second game, Florida takes it pretty handily. I think the score was like 10-1, 10-2, something like that. Third game, and the girl actually got hit one time in that game. Third game, so it's game 3. It's a winner-take-all. Winner advances on to Oklahoma City, and the girl gets hit twice in her first 2 at-bats.
Oh gosh.
So And then she gets up there and she hits another, I think it was a game tying or game winning double to send the Red Raiders to Oklahoma City. So
Wow. Wasn't that the game? I think I seen where they wouldn't shake hands across
it was Florida. Florida
Mhm.
wouldn't shake their hands, and they went into the dugout, and so Texas Tech got to celebrate. And I mean, me personally, I think that's just a good thing for the Red Raiders. Even though it is SEC school, I get it, but you got to show sportsmanship and all that. Even though it is a rough situation, I guess. But
there's times where that just kind of. You just don't
Came
want to
back,
cross that line.
Yeah,
and
came back to bite them in the butt.
That's right.
And then Mississippi State's another SEC school that made it to the College World Series.
I've seen that.
And I think Texas was. But anyways, good luck to those girls. The tournament starts this weekend in Oklahoma City, so it's going to be a fun, exciting weekend in Oklahoma. So if you ain't watching Razorbacks, go watch the Lady Razorbacks on ESPN.
There you go. There's going to be enough on this weekend. You can tune in somewhere to watch something. So moving to our next thing, something that we're kind of really not diversed on. I had mentioned to Sam, hey, NFL finals are coming down, or NBA finals are coming down. See, we're not used to talking about NBA, but NBA finals are approaching, and still got time to several games that they're going to play, and it was kind of a lot of information, a lot of stuff we don't know about, so maybe we need to grow in the NBA a little bit.
We gotta brush up on the NBA.
But the two conferences, I guess you would call them,
the Eastern and Western Conference Finals is what is going on.
Coming down to it. I don't know. You got something?
Yeah. So, one thing I do, I like Brendan said, I'm gonna be flat out honest with you. I don't pay attention much to the NBA, but I do pay attention to former Razorback players.
Yeah. And
there are two former Razorback players that are playing in the NBA conference finals right now in that Western Conference, and that's Jalen Williams.
Mm-hmm.
If you remember him, he was a big man for the Razorbacks for under golly, I'm drawing a blank on his name, the Musselman.
Yep.
He's from Fort Smith, Arkansas. I mean, Jalen Williams, and then you have Isaiah Joe, and those two guys right there. They won it. Oklahoma City won it last year. They're trying to go back to back, and I personally think right now they're the best team in the NBA.
Yeah, I've watched a little bit, especially since Jalen and Isaiah Joe are playing. I mean, we don't, but it feels like we know them because we're such in a heat of time at Arkansas in basketball where we had so much potential to go further. I think maybe when Jalen was playing to the Elite Eight or something like that. Yeah. Isaiah Joe might have been there too that same time, but just felt like it drawed my attention. But watching them play, man, is unreal. They're so feisty down low. They can, which most of your NBA guys can hit about anywhere over the arch. I mean, it's fun to watch. But like Sam said, I see them taking this one again like they did last year. But just like on the baseball field, things happen.
And you talking about hitting from the arch. Victor Wimben, I don't know how to pronounce the name. You can tell it to me. I don't know. It's the giant, enormous human being that plays for the Spurs.
Yeah.
Wimbenyaye.
That's a good effort at it.
So it's a good effort. Anyways, he hit one right before the quarter ended yesterday at half court. I mean, he just pulled up like it was a normal shot and sank it.
Yeah.
Like, I understand that you're 8 foot tall, but goodness, man.
The other day I had actually when I texted Sam and said, hey, we need to start talking about the NBA a little bit. I had just watched both teams, or I was watching them play each other, and I think they hit 10 back-to-back threes just consecutively, equivalent to both teams. And I'm like, man, this is just crazy. But good basketball. I know we probably only watch a lot of college basketball, but when you have somebody or a team like the Thunder that has two alumni Razorbacks, I don't know, it kind of drags you in a little bit. People have their own opinions about the NBA, but hey, we're going to support the Hogs. You know, they are Hogs, ride or die, and they'll tell you that. So it's fun to watch them.
It is. Thing about Isaiah Joe, he's coming off the bench. He's one of their key shooters coming off the bench. He's kind of like their 6', 7 guy coming off. Just like when he played for the Hogs, man, he brought a lot of energy onto the floor. He, like Brandon said, he shoots great from the perimeter. Everything he did for Arkansas other than start, he has transitioned that over into the Thunder. And Jalen Williams, man, key role. He's a great locker room guy, big guy. You know, he's an attaboy guy. He's gonna pat you on the back, but he's also gonna turn around and get on your butt if you mess up.
Yeah.
And I think he's the guy that's not afraid to take a charge.
Right. Yes.
You know, I think he led the NCAA in charges taken when he was in college, and he continues to do that in the NBA. And he looks for that open guy on that perimeter, a guy like Isaiah Joe or Alexander on the outside. He's gonna find those guys, you know, on that perimeter to hit that three.
But I will tell you, if they're not open, he holds his own at the 3-point line also.
Yeah,
so,
he does.
He didn't get there for not being able to do that. But something that he had mentioned with Isaiah Joe, I noticed it was almost like when they needed a little bit of push or something to change, it was they throw him in there, and I'm thinking, oh yeah, something's about to happen. But definitely fun to watch.
Yeah. So all right. So that's the Western Conference, and you know the Spurs. They have a winning recipe. Their legendary coach. He retired just here recently. But the Spurs, I mean, they've won several titles when they had Tim Duncan and David Robinson and Ginobili and the guy from France. I'm trying to think what his name is. Tony Parker. I mean, they were probably one of the greatest dynasties. Just I'm gonna say not long ago, but it's been about 20 years ago now, in the early 2000s. So they've been there. They've done it. The franchise has now. I mean, those guys have not, because that, like I said, that was 20 years ago. But the franchise knows what it takes to win the NBA Finals, and on the flip side, so does Oklahoma City. You know, they, like I said, they won it last year. But over on the eastern side, you have the New York Knicks against the Cleveland Cavaliers, and right now the Knicks are up 3-0.
Yep. Yeah, the Knicks. You know, I see the Knicks bringing this, handling this. Everybody's got their opinion on the Cavaliers, but man, the New York leading them 3-0. That's pretty hefty.
I don't know what the statistic is, but I figured it'd be like 3 games in the World Series, or the ALCS.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen.
Right.
It doesn't happen. They may win tonight when they meet each other, but I don't foresee them coming from a 3-game deficit or the Cleveland coming over from a 3-game deficit.
Right. Like if it was 2-1 or something, that's one thing. But man, 3, that's a struggle right there.
Yeah, and then they're going to be playing in New York. I don't know.
I don't know what their fans are like. I'm sure it'll be mixed.
Well, Spike Lee will be there.
Yeah.
He'll be there on the court side.
Just take a gander on it and go watch you some NBA.
Yeah, and this the Knicks are actually trying to reach the finals for the first time since '99.
Yeah.
That was after the Jordan era. But it's gonna be interesting finals on if I personally think it'll be New York, and I'm going Oklahoma City. I can't go against the Razorbacks.
Yeah, I definitely think they'll have it locked up, and they're just fun to watch.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting for sure. So, man, let's go back to the baseball on the SEC So some of the regionals that I'm gonna be paying attention to is Auburn.
Mhm.
I think Auburn's got a great chance to win that one because I think it showed in the SEC tournament
Yeah.
that their pitching staff and their pitching rotation is absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah. Yeah, Auburn was a team that a lot of people were worried about, and they were brought up. They have a lot to bring to the table. I mean, they can get their bats rolling. They know how to make plays. Like Sam said, their bullpen is strong enough that, hey, you don't want to joke around with these guys, and it kind of boils down to almost like we mentioned in football. You know, the SEC. You know, you're going to have your 4, 5, 6 schools that are just that feel or that seem dominant over most of everybody else. So as a whole of the SEC, I hope that that we can show up in these regionals and make it happen. I don't know if it was last year or the year before. I felt like if there were, I can't remember how many teams go to Omaha, but I felt 8. That's what I was going to say 10, but I wasn't for sure. I think one year was like 3 or 4 of the teams were SEC schools, and I remember us having to play them or beat those. You know, they almost have to beat each other out of it, but still makes it fun. It's like watching the SEC baseball all over again, but just all in at Omaha.
Yeah, and you know you got Oklahoma. Oklahoma is traveling to. They're in the Atlanta regional. You got Georgia Tech, and that one there, and you got the Citadel, and then UIC. I don't know who UIC is, but that's who it is. But you have Oklahoma playing game. They're going to be playing the Citadel. I foresee Georgia Tech winning that one pretty handily. Georgia Tech is a salty program. I mean, I hope the Sooners win because it's SEC, but I would like to see an all SEC tournament, but it ain't going to happen because the Yellow Jackets in Georgia Tech, I've watched them play a couple games now, and they're really good. Then you have Georgia hosting their regional. You got Liberty and Boston College, then Georgia and Long Island. You see any issues with Georgia after watching them yesterday?
No, not at all.
In that regional, Auburn and Milwaukee are playing. They're having Auburn's hosting regional, then North Carolina State and University of Central Florida. I know I've watched NC State play a little bit this year, but I personally don't think they can handle Auburn's pitching. And then you got Chapel Hill, North Carolina. North Carolina and their regional is East Carolina is playing the Tennessee Volunteers. So you got in that game you got Carolina, East Carolina Pirates or Tennessee, because you know East Carolina. I mean they're a good baseball program. Tennessee struggled.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Tennessee struggled a little bit. I kind of expected them to maybe do a little bit better than they did. Man, I'm gonna go against the SEC. I think Carolina will be able to do it.
North Carolina or East Carolina?
Probably.
They're playing in It's the North Carolina regional.
Yeah.
But Tennessee is playing East Carolina.
Yeah, East Carolina. Maybe
You
an upset.
you think the Pirates take them, huh?
Upset.
Yeah. Well,
they might not be calling it an upset. I don't know. I mean,
I'm gonna go against you. I'm gonna say Tennessee beats East Carolina, but Tennessee falls to the Tar Heels after the Tar Heels beat VCU.
Okay.
Then we have the Austin, Austin, Texas regional in Texas is playing Holy Cross, Tarleton State, and UC Santa Barbara. I see Texas rolling through that one pretty easy.
Yeah, they should roll through that.
Then the Tuscaloosa regional, South Carolina Upstate, Oklahoma State, Alabama, and Alabama State. Outside of Oklahoma State, I don't see Alabama having any issues rolling that one.
Yeah, probably not. They should roll that one up.
Then Florida's hosting the regional. You got Florida. Florida is playing Rider, Troy versus Miami. You know, Miami's not going. Miami's a good program.
I don't know if it'll be Miami, but there's going to be those teams that, like, the California or not California, Carolina team, Eastern Carolina, that might surprise you. Like the game you just mentioned, you never know. Things happen.
Oh yeah. Then we have the Hattiesburg Regional, which is Southern Miss University. We were talking about UALR. This is where they're at. Southern Miss is playing Little Rock, and Jacksonville State is playing Virginia. I'm gonna go. Oh boy. I'm gonna go. Brandon, I'm gonna go Virginia winning that regional.
Okay.
Even though I know Southern Miss has had a great year, I just can't. Virginia, I think Virginia's too good. I think they got too much power coming in from their pitching rotation and their hitting. So I'm gonna go Virginia on that one. Then we have the Tallahassee Regional, Florida State, St. John's, Northern Illinois, and Coastal Carolina. And for those who don't remember, Coastal Carolina was in the College World Series Finals last year, and I do believe did they win it? I don't remember if they won it or not. I know they made it there. I don't remember.
Yeah.
But report is that coach is actually leaving and taking the South Carolina job.
Interesting.
So we'll see how that shakes out. But that game is all these start on Friday, by the way. That Tallahassee Regional, all of them start on Friday. Then you have the Eugene Regional, Eugene, Oregon, the Ducks. Washington State's playing Oregon State, Oregon versus Yale.
Interesting.
I'm glad to see an Ivy League school got in there.
Yeah.
And then the College Station Regional. Man, all these SEC schools hosting some regionals.
Yeah, that's
other than the
other than
Razorbacks.
Arkansas. That's what I was thinking.
Texas A&M, Lamar versus, and then Texas State against USC. Then we have the Lincoln Regional, Nebraska, South Dakota State, Arizona State, and Ole Miss. So there's another SEC school in there. Ole Miss is getting to travel to Lincoln, Nebraska. Ole Miss really struggling. I mean, heck, they got beat by Missouri.
Yeah, that would definitely be a struggle. I'm a little surprised they made it there. That should be an interesting regional for sure.
Yeah, okay. So another SEC regional, Starkville, Mississippi, and Stark, Vegas. We have the Mississippi State Bulldogs taking on Lipscomb, Louisiana, and Cincinnati in that regional. I don't know much about any of them other than Mississippi State. I think Mississippi State rolls that one.
Yeah.
Go
ahead. No,
Nope.
Mississippi State, I would say they would have that regional. Definitely be a good one to watch, but we've said anything could happen. It'd be interesting. I'd say they'd lock that regional up.
Yeah. Yep. All right, and then we got the Lawrence Regional, which is in Lawrence, Kansas. This is where the Razorbacks playing. Kansas is playing Northeastern, and then Missouri State is playing the Razorbacks. I don't foresee the Razorbacks. I mean, I think the Razorbacks take it. If you want to call them an underdog because we're not hosting a regional, I mean, if it was me, I kind of feel shafted by the NCAA not hosting a regional.
Right. But it might be in our favor. We have a friend that commentates with us, and he had mentioned, hey, we do better away. So, that might be better for us.
Yeah, but there's nothing better than Baum Walker.
It's true.
During postseason postseason tournament play. So yeah, I don't know.
We're gonna ride or die with the Hawks.
That's it. They're gonna win that regional. Then you have the Morgantown Regional, which is in West Virginia. Another SEC school. Kentucky is playing Wake Forest, the Demon Deacons. And then you have West Virginia and Binghamton playing. I've watched enough West Virginia. I'm going to say West Virginia, even though I'm going to pick against it. Kentucky here. I'm going to say West Virginia wins that one.
Yeah.
So that's
a lot of baseball coming up.
yeah.
For sure.
It's another fun-filled weekend of college baseball. So it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, switching gears. I know we kind of go from sport to sport, but I know we don't have a lot of information on high school football, but they're starting a lot of them a couple weeks ago or a month ago got done with their spring. They're starting probably getting ready to enter into, or as school ends, enter into a dead week period that Arkansas does. Sam, as a football program, I mean, this summer, what's most of these guys you would think, these coaches, getting prepared for? Hey, we're in the weight room. What are we doing, or what's some of the things that it's going to get them prepared for fall?
Man, I personally think a lot of them are going to be installing some offense, and they're going to be running a lot of stuff. I mean, you got several schools hosting 7-on-7s, trying to get that passing game going, trying to get that spread game going. Then, working on keys on defense. I mean, just trying to install their basic fundamental plays. That way, when, fall camp hits, they're ready to strap up and get after it. I think that's a big thing right now, and then continuing to get bigger, stronger, and faster in the weight room, and just trying to get these kids adjusted to that heat, because man, football's hard.
Yeah,
football's a tough, hard sport.
And and coming up, it's the heat's fixing to turn on, and a lot of, especially southern schools, we're buried in the heat till mid-October. Yeah,
late November.
Yeah,
late October.
Just depending. Yeah. So we're gonna look forward to that. It might, after a week or two, things might slow down for us. We might try to figure out what we got going, but just stick with us. Sam, what you got?
Man, so I pulled up the Razorback College World Series. So Thursday night, the Lady Razorbacks, they're taking on the Nebraska Lady. I guess they're called the Lady Cornhuskers. Mm-hmm. Thursday night, 9:30. If you can make it, I'm not a late person, but I think I'm gonna try to stay up and watch it. They're taking on the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Support their Lady Razorbacks, man. This is a big deal for them. First time ever making it to Oklahoma City.
Yeah, it's crazy and awesome to be a part of that or the ones that are a part of that program. I think we seen, and I think me and you talked about it, how the coach's husband was with one of their kids playing a travel baseball game or softball game, whatever it was, and I wonder if she's going to let him come to the game.
Yeah.
Hey, we did this without you here. Stay away. No,
we're not superstitious. We're just
a little bit. Yeah. But kudos to them. Got to follow them for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Anyways, that's gonna be about the show today. I know we talked a whole lot about a whole lot of different sports. So if you like us, great. Like, share, comment. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. I mean, we're trying to hit all the platforms again, so we're just trying to get out there, trying to get these kids noticed in South Arkansas. I know we didn't talk a whole lot about South Arkansas kids.
We will soon.
It's coming.
Oh yeah,
it's coming. So help us get the word out. That's the big thing. Help us get the word out.
Yeah, just don't scroll by and not like the post, or share the post, or like the page. It's funny. I had a lot of people say something to me about this, and I went back, and I'm not going to call anybody by name, and I went back and they seen it, but they don't like our page. So if you're watching it, jump over and like the page.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So anyways, we appreciate y'all joining us today on this Memorial Day. I hope everybody has a safe and happy holiday weekend, and have a great week. And we appreciate it. We're the Press Box.